why do you need payment to play for the country?
Because if it's not badminton, it's football. If it's not football, it's badminton.
Why would you employ a coach Cerai to break up your marriage?
There's concerts every other week.
It has been a year where headlines didn't just come and go. Many lingered, raised questions, and in some cases, exposed deeper cracks. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Juliana.
And I'm Alina. And today we're looking back at 2025. What a year it has been through the lens of sports and entertainment. Not just what happened, but why it mattered, right?
Yeah, absolutely. From stadiums to stages, and it's been a year of big moments, public reckonings and cultural conversations, both in entertainment and sports. Together, we'll connect the dots.
I see what you're doing there.
It has to rhyme.
It's rhyming all right.
So on the set with us, we have two very special people from our team. Faizal Salim, who is our senior sports journalist.
And we have Arif Omar, who's our NST entertainment head. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Right, so Faizal, we'll start with sports first, yeah? You've seen many cycles in Malaysian sports. Now, in 2025 alone, was there any particular moment that made you stop and reflect on your role as a sports journalist?
Yeah, very much. So I think this year one of the biggest topic that I had the pleasure of covering is the mental health of our athletes. I think it was first sparked by our national badminton player Lee Zijia. He posted a series of images on his Instagram account, which led to very dark images, and it led to public concern over his mental health and well-being. Later on, it was reported that he's okay, he was fine. It was him expressing his interest in art, his newfound interest in art. But later on, he did admit in the interview with the BWF that he fell into a little bit of a depression, trying to recover from ankle injury, which has limited him to just 5 tournaments this year, playing in 5 tournaments this year. And through that, I've had the opportunity to dive deeper into this topic of mental health among our athletes. I've had the opportunity to speak with mental health experts, sports psychologists, and also our National Sports Institute head, Dr. P. Velapandian, on this topic. I think one of the biggest interview I did this year also is with our national swimmer, Fee Jing Eun. She opened up about how difficult it was for her to miss out on the Paris Olympics, how it impacted her mentally, and also she also opened up on her decades-long battle with depression from her youth all the way to her years in college, and how she dealt with that, being a national athlete and struggling with mental health. And from what she said, a lot more needs to be done, unfortunately. But after speaking to Dr. P. Velapandian, he said that there are processes in place to help athletes who are struggling with mental health.
It must not be easy because for athletes, especially high-performing, elite athletes, those who have competed at the Olympics and whatnot, it must have been hard for them to come forward and to admit that they are struggling with this mental health, because people always see them as someone who's very competitive and putting up a very brave front, right? And seeing their vulnerability being exposed like this, it must have been. It's not new in Malaysia, so to speak, because in the US, in tennis, remember the famous American tennis player who admitted that she was struggling with mental health, and the gymnast too. Now in Malaysia, it's still mental health, although it's more often talked about now, but it's somewhat still a taboo subject in Malaysia, right?
Yeah. The stigma is still there that you're crazy because you have mental health issue. It's not so much crazy. It's like falling sick. You know.
I think the perception is also that when people look at mental health, help here is still, like therapy, for example, and, going to a psychiatrist or psychologist. It's not something that's easily done here at this point. It's not easily available.
Yeah,
right?
accessible.
Yeah.
It's not easily accessible because a lot of people still don't know how to reach out to get help, professional help. It's like when you get a fever, you go to a doctor, to a clinic, to a doctor. So when you are feeling a certain way, that's negative and is impacting your everyday life, you should understand that it's important to go to see a mental health specialist to help you deal with those feelings. But because of this schema also, the people are afraid. And not just our national athletes, but also the general public as well. They are afraid of the stigma. They are afraid of what people will say about them. And also they don't have enough information where to go.
I mean, the pressure is intense. I mean, you are not just playing for yourself, playing for the country. The whole country's eyes are upon you, right? So when you win or lose, it's a significant thing, because, you know, when you win, yes, you have a high, but then after that, say if you lose or, you know, something happens, you make a mistake, and you know what, the weight of the world, the country's criticism lies upon your shoulder. It weighs heavily on your shoulders.
Especially if you are a national athlete that receive public funding.
Right.
So
Yes.
yeah, all that money has been invested in you. So the pressure is there not to disappoint the country is even higher. So a lot more needs to be done for us to create a support system to help our athletes deal with the pressures mentally.
Absolutely. I hope 2026 there will still be more talks about mental health struggles among athletes. I hope they will get their deserved attention to help them go through
But
this.
at the same time, the public also should be, show a little bit more compassion towards. It's not always about winning. You win some, you lose some.
Yeah.
But even if they lose, there's a way to sort of talk about it. And generally, I notice, like, especially online, you have all the keyboard warriors. They just like whack and whack and whack. So that's not constructive anyway.
It's very unfiltered.
Yeah, and it's not constructive.
No.
So it doesn't help anybody. So
Yeah.
I think the public also should show a little bit more compassion.
Yeah,
towards-
there's a way to criticize the performance of the national athletes without bringing in their family, their looks, shaming them,
Yep.
or basically just saying that money is just wasted on them.
Exactly.
So we need to be kinder.
So since we're already the topic of badminton, right? Another badminton sort of say drama this year. Earlier this year was finally our top women's doubles ace. I'm sure you know this. Perli and Tina.
Yes,
Right.
it's a contract saga
Yeah.
that kind of dragged on.
So it originated from late last year, right? Faisal, if I'm not
Yeah,
mistaken?
correct.
And then it dragged on till early this year. There was a bit of a back and forth
Their
negotiation going on
Their
with the
contract expired, I believe, in December 2024. December 2024. And unfortunately, the negotiation went on, I think, all the way into May, if I'm not mistaken. So during that process, it was a very drawn-out saga. A lot of things were said from the BAM that our players were coming to the table with different requests every single time, and so far, which is unfortunately we couldn't get any verification from the girls whether this is true or not, because unfortunately they choose to keep mum throughout the whole entire saga. So I believe that was a mistake from their part, because they let the association control the narrative.
Have we seen this kind of negotiations between top players and the Badminton Association before?
Certainly in badminton it has happened, because I believe in 2024 Lizija, again going back to Lizija, he was a professional player, so because he left the national setup a few years ago, and then he was picked to play in the Sudirman Cup or the Thomas Cup, I can't remember right now. So he asked for payments, image rights payment. So and at the time BM already agreed to do so. Because he's a professional player, and when he plays for the national team, he has to wear the national colours, which clash with his personal sponsors as a professional player. So because of that, he's not going to get the sponsorship from the payment for his sponsorship, because he's wearing a different brand on him, because of wearing national colours, because of the specific sponsors that the national team
His
has.
sponsor is
Victor. One of them is the biggest Lizija sponsor is Victor, and the BAM are sponsored by Yonex, which is a big competitor to both brands are big competitor, especially in badminton. So he asked for compensation to don national colours during the team tournament, and BM agreed to it, but there was a huge uproar as well because of that. Because why do you need payment to play for the country? You're playing for the country. The argument was you should just play for the country. But looking at Lizija's perspective, he is a professional player, so he's not getting a salary unless his sponsors pays him. Yeah. So and then going back to Palitina spot, certainly we've not seen this type of bargaining happen with players who are currently in the national setup, who want to stay with the national setup.
Yeah.
So certainly this is the first time in my memory that it has happened, and I believe it's a good thing.
But it sets a precedent, right?
It does, and I think it sets a positive precedent for players, because when you perform, you should be compensated fairly. It's not just by tournament winnings, but also with your everyday earnings at
the reputation they bring it for BAL.
Because also during the contract negotiation, an argument was made that they've not done enough to ask for what they were allegedly asking. But after they signed their contracts, I believe they entered 4 more finals, because they already won one title, I believe, before they signed their contract, and won 2 more titles. And this year has been a stellar year for them. 8 finals, 3 titles, 1 SEA Games gold medal.
Not bad.
So yeah, they've shown that they are worth the money that they ask.
Absolutely, because once they sign, it's like a greater accountability also, and it protects them.
Yeah, exactly. So now that we talk about medals, right? Of course, recently the concluded 2025 SEA Games in Bangkok.
Yes.
70 medals was the target, right? The
the colourless medal target was 200.
200.
And I believe we achieved 231 gold medals.
Is it the highest achievement of total medals so far?
It has been said that it has been the most number of medals collected outside of SEA Games that was held in Malaysia. So, but if you look at the breakdown of the gold medal, we have 57 gold medals across, I believe, 50 sports, and 1,000 plus athletes representing the country, which is going back to, I think, Singapore 2015, we had 60 plus gold medals with fewer athletes and fewer events. So yes, it is a success that we surpassed the 200 colourless medal. But when you frame it against our achievements in the past, it's okay. It's just okay.
Based on what you've just said, having that no colour target, does that somewhat kind of backfire, so to speak? Because, when you say no colour target, do people actually say, okay, no colour, as long as I get a medal, doesn't matter? Like before we had okay, you need to achieve this number of golds or this number of silver, so people are trying.
And it was properly analysed on what sports has the potential to get gold.
Absolutely. So because when you say no colour target, now what does it mean for targets for particular sports? Like how can we better ourselves? Because when there's a no colour target.
I'm personally not a big fan of the no colour target, because I believe that you need to put a little bit of positive pressure on these athletes.
Positive pressure, I like that. Because when we say pressure, we were always thinking about negative. But positive pressure, that's a good one. Yeah.
You need to put positive pressure. We need to lay down specific targets for these athletes. This is what we have been invested in you, and this is what is being asked of you. So this you should achieve. This is something that you should strive for. Okay, and also when you're talking about putting positive pressure on athletes, we should also create an environment and also support system to help the athletes deal with that positive pressure. And going back to the mental health, sports psychology, we must create that support systems to help the athletes deal, so that we don't have to shield them from pressure of demanding certain colored targets from these athletes. Right now, I believe because of we don't have enough support system, our sports associations are very reliant on the National Sports Institute for this support system. It's time for them to invest on their own sports science experts and sports psychology without being too reliant on the National Sports Institute to provide those services for national athletes, so that we can give these athletes positive pressure for them to really strive for excellence.
Right, exactly. Not talking about positive pressure. Now we're going to a negative pressure. You see, we've been connecting the dots from one topic to another, right?
Know.
So it segues nicely. Now, talking about pressure, Football Association of Malaysia sanctioned from FIFA.
Yeah.
Now that was a huge drama because it created rifts between so many parties. We're talking about fans who are like loyalists to FAM. We're talking about fans who are neutral. We're talking about analysts who were really criticize media, that criticize FAM, and the whole process of how it got sanctioned in the first place, the heritage place status, the so-called, the quote-unquote doctored documents. Now, because football always found a way to dominate conversation in Malaysia. Because if it's not badminton, it's football. If it's not football, it's badminton. We can't run away from it, right? So now, the case is currently being... It's been handed over to CAS, CAS, Court of Arbitration of Sports. Yeah.
So going back to the beginning, first FIFA were sanctioned FAM for using 7 players not eligible, quote unquote uneligible to play for Malaysia, because they found that there is no proof of heritage connection to Malaysian. FAM appealed that decision. FIFA rejected the appeal, and then FIFA laid out the facts of why they made the first sanction decision, and also why they rejected the appeal as well. And now the next route for the Football Association of Malaysia is going to the Court of Arbitration for Sports. So they've recently filed the appeal to the Court of Arbitration for Sports, and then but going to what I've read for experts' opinion, going through the FIFA. The proof that FIFA have laid out to give the sanction on FAM, the experts are not positive that it will be a win for FAM at the CAS.
They also have a concurrent investigation going on, right? Internal inquiry, chaired by the former chief judge. Was it a former chief judge, I think?
Yeah, former chief judge Malaysia, because FM set up
like sort of an internal body.
Internal inquiry committee to look into the whole situation.
Sorry,
with
independent.
Independent. Yeah, the independent committee to look into the whole issue with the 7 players, the eligibility.
Because they claim the documents was doctored by someone on the inside.
Because FIFA said that the documents were doctored. So the results was they made recommendations that a police report should be filed, and also a few damning findings that give view of how the whole situation was managed, unfortunately. But I don't believe the full has been out yet. So talking about the chances at CAS, going back there, a lot of experts and legal experts are saying that it's going to be a tough to get a win.
It's still a long way. There's still a long way to go.
I mean, this is drama at its well, I wanted to say best, but actually worst. But
I mean, it's not good for the football industry.
Looking at the glint in Arif's eye, right? He's probably thinking what I'm thinking. Maybe this should be made into a movie, right? What do you think? What are your thoughts on that?
Who could be the best producer to produce a
best producer?
It could, it has all the ingredients of a interesting drama and thrilling,
who done it?
Football, epic football, bio
who's involved,
kind of thing.
who was manipulated.
Cautionary tale, maybe.
Yeah, that's right.
Exactly. But now this drama, this episode, do you think it? I mean, of course, it changes how the public views governance in Malaysian football, because people are already questioning those who are on the side of the document was doctored, and those who believe the yet proven what's the word? Claims that someone on the inside in the immigration department is involved. There's so many
Yeah.
views are involved in this situation, but you think how massive is this?
I feel
People's
like-
views towards immigration, the authorities, people's views towards the governing body of
I
FIFA
feel like
and
across the
FAM.
board, the feelings from fans are that they feel cheated, you know.
They felt cheated.
They feel cheated and they feel deceived by by FAM as well, because when the idea of naturalizing these 7 players came about, it was said that everything's legit. Okay, we've gone through the processes, etc., and everything's legit. So there won't be any issues moving forward. FAM said that, but of course, that's not true now with the FIFA findings being made public as well.
Right.
And there's a lot of questions being raised. Okay, did you lie to us? The public were asking, did you lie to us when you said everything is legit, everything, the processes have been followed?
Right.
So a lot of feeling of disappointment towards the national body, and also a lot of feelings of betrayal as well.
But before we jump to the next interesting topic, everybody would know about this. I just want to ask you, so what's next for FAM?
We have to wait for that
Official
ruling,
announcement.
the official ruling from CIS. They will go through the case. FAM will head to Court of Arbitration Sports to make their arguments, etc. The case will be heard, and then
we'll see.
yeah, we'll see. We don't know. I think it could take all the way for a year or so.
FAM FIFA Sanction Drama Part 2.
Yes, to be continued.
To be continued. Okay. Still in sports, right? We're talking about another interesting one. This has never happened before. I hope it will not happen again. Our most experienced, one of Malaysia's most experienced sports journalist, Harish Dio, who also runs the news portal called 2213. He was assaulted in Bangsa in November. In broad daylight, you know. It's disturbing because we didn't think that a journalist could get assaulted here for probably something that he could have written that was not in favor of some individual or party, we don't know. But the police are saying that the perpetrator told the police they attacked him because they thought he had some personal beef, but apparently dia salah orang. Kononnya, that's what the
It was a
perpetrator
case
said.
of mistaken identity.
Exactly, but the case is still under investigation, right? And the police hasn't come up with any decision on whether or not.
I think that's the latest update was that it was a case of mistaken identity. Beyond that, I don't believe there's any more update so far to the case.
So one of the perpetrators has already been charged, taken to court, and then he admitted that he did the wrongdoings, right? But now the question is waiting for the other 2 perpetrators, because on CCTV we saw there were 2.
There were 3.
Eh,
2 assaulting
3.
Harish and
Yeah.
1 recording the incident.
But there's still no update on the other 2 attackers.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, I don't believe so. But we shouldn't let this incident with Harish shrink the discourse on critical discourse on sports, because our job as a journalist is to write. To ask the difficult questions to the powers to be and hold them accountable.
Exactly.
But also, unfortunately, the power structures are getting increasingly sensitive to scrutiny, and generally also, and when their accountability mechanism are weak, journalists are exposed to this type of incidents.
Yeah.
So hopefully a lot will be done to protect journalists. And also, hopefully, it will not stop the critical discourse.
Hopefully so. We can only hope for the best then.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to talking about taking accountability, right? So we have a leadership role. After Prime Minister's announcement on the cabinet reshuffle, it was a bit unexpected.
Yeah.
Don't you think about the shift of role from Hannah Yeoh shifted to federal territories? So now taking the helm at Youth and Sports is Taufik Johari. What do you think about that? Did you expect that at all for the shift in
No,
portfolio in
A high
sports?
profile role, right? And I
Yeah.
don't know whether Taufik Johari has the
I feel like
precedence or at least
it's a it's a promotion for our YB Hanayo after the good work that she's done at the Youth and Sport Ministry, because maybe some of her sporting policies have not been popular, including the colourless medal target, but her non-sporting policies I'm a big fan of them. She took the welfare, well-being of athletes into account. Athletes are no longer receiving allowance, but they are receiving salaries, which mean you can deduct EPF and SOCSO.
That's my favorite part.
Yeah, EPF and SOCSO, so that the athletes' social well-being being taken care of. They can apply for car loans easier, buy houses easier, as opposed to previously where they were just receiving allowances, and when you're just receiving allowances, it's difficult for banks to accept any type of loan applications.
Yeah.
Also, she increased the salary of coaches to according to their level. If they were former world champions, they get a lot more than the previous scale was. Then also she put the tax. You can claim up to 1K for any sports for parents who put their children in sports
So it becomes
classes.
an encouragement to not just sports people,
Yeah.
but for normal people too who are
Yeah.
sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, because that 1,000 exemption, it helps a lot.
Yeah.
Especially if you are sending your children, multiple children to the sports classes.
Correct.
Because those spending can add up. So I believe it's a good promotion for Hanayo to the ministry, Federal Territories Minister, right? So yeah, but as answering your question, it certainly is very much unexpected, especially with Adam Adli also being reassigned, because Adam Adli has been, I believe, a good deputy as well, and then coming in for Dr. Taufik Jawahari. Certainly, I believe it's his first ministerial
These are
position.
big shoes to fill because there
Big
are
shoes.
multiple world multi-sports games coming up next year.
Yeah.
The Commonwealth and also the Aichi Nagoya
Asian Games, yeah.
And then 2027 we're the host.
Yeah, we're
the
the
host
host for
for
the
SEA
SEA Games, yeah.
So
I mean,
those are huge projects for someone who just came in as a sports minister with not much of a background in sports, I would say.
yeah, but we don't expect them to be an ex-Olympian.
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course lah,
somebody, but of course we do expect somebody who understands the systems, who listens, who shows up. So a lot more remains to be seen. I think with this new minister taking up.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Hanaya took over as well. Yeah, I think it was right before the Phnom Penh SEA Games. She was not from a sports background, and also it was right before the Phnom Penh SEA Games, if I'm not mistaken. And unfortunately, at the Phnom Penh SEA Games, we didn't do well. We bombed. It was one of our worst performance at the SEA Games, and she unfortunately had to answer for that. So yeah, for Dr. Taufik, he is kind of like in the same spot, but fortunately for him, we achieved the 200 medal target, and yeah.
You just have to maintain the momentum.
Yeah, maintain the momentum because planning has already been
Underway
for the Commonwealth and Aichi Nagoya Games at MSN. So I believe it's difficult for us to predict or to see what he's going to do in this short period of time.
Right.
So he needs to be given the time to really get a lay of the land.
Yeah. So if you could, in sports for 2025, if you could sum it up this entire year in one phrase or maybe one word, how would you describe it?
I mean, it's been a good mix, It's been a good mix of success, a good mix of controversies, and we there's a lot that we can learn from everything that happened this year. From the FIFA case to the Palitina contract negotiations, our success or relative success at the SEA Games, and next year will be a massive year for us, especially with the Asian Games and
more pressure for you.
Asian Games and Commonwealth Games. So yeah, everything needs to carry through, carry the momentum from these SEA Games, and then hopefully we see a revival and more success for our country.
We hope so.
Yeah.
That was sports in 2025, a year shaped as much by governance, power dynamics, and accountability, and throwing in a lot of drama as well, But entertainment.
Some spices.
I know. And entertainment in some ways mirror all these same themes, I think. So turning the attention to you now, Arif. Okay, so entertainment headlines didn't just entertain. I mean, we had dramas, we had controversies, we had court cases. Oh man, if entertainment can be the whole of entertainment 2025 should be turned into a movie, I think. But you know what? Let's start with relationships because that's something I like to talk about.
Yeah.
So 2025, Arif, we saw a lot of high-profile celebrity breakups, right? That repeatedly returned to the headlines, both internationally and locally. So I mean, for me, I was quite sad. I was quite emotionally invested in Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban. I always thought that they will have a happily ever after,
Yeah.
but apparently not. We also had Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom.
That was
weird.
I wasn't much surprised as their breakup compared to her new beau.
Yeah, her new beau. So
Random. Ex-Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau.
I know. But you know what? Let's move locally lah. So we had Ukasha Senros and Kamal Adli with the story moving from, speculation and then to court proceedings. So maybe you can just give us a little inside view on what actually took place.
Well, talking about relationship breakdowns and divorces and all that, you were talking about movies as well. So 2025 seems more like a sequel, or maybe it's a season 2 from last year, because last year in 2024 there were actually quite a number of breakups and divorces as well. So it's on par that with 2025, bigger budget, more special effects,
More especially.
better director and actors and actress, cast members. So in this case, it continues. The drama continues. It never ends.
I know, but what struck us most was Coach Cherai.
Coach Cherai. First time in my life I heard there's such thing as a divorce coach. Is that new? I think it's just I first time hearing it.
Well, according to the person, he says that's normal overseas, but obviously it's something new lah. It's new over here, and I've never heard of Coach Cherai before. Have you?
But what do they?
Faisal, we have badminton coaches,
Exactly.
football coaches. Now we have got divorce coaches.
Yeah, so I'm just wondering what is the certification for these coaches and what is the
Who's
experience?
certified?
Like how many divorces do you have to go through to be a coach, right?
Yes, yes. What is your success like?
Success rate of a divorce coach.
Successfully divorced?
But success rate rated by what?
Rated by what?
By
exactly?
divorce cases or saving a marriage?
Yeah,
Actually, that's unclear. You don't know whether
What?
he's there
Yeah.
to get people back together or to just split them up.
Correct. Or to split them up.
Yes.
So,
So
yeah.
what do they actually do?
That one is
I'm genuinely
We have no idea. But
have
you
no
know
idea.
what? We're just going to wait and see. Maybe
because
he has other...
I saw snippets of Kamal's interview at the court from of course our media is all over on Instagram, right? Everything is reported on Instagram, social media and whatnot. He was very angry. I've never seen him that expressive apart from drama. Because drama is scripted, but this is like expressive.
I think he's a
From Kamal Ali.
better actor off screen than on
He was
screen.
saying that the Coach Cherai is always there with his wife, but the fella never actually approached him and tried to mediate between the
he
them.
was saying it was a one-sided affair because all the attention was given to the wife and her side of the story, but none was given to him. I mean, nobody approached him, nobody talked to him, nobody called him to come together to discuss issues and all that. So that's why he was fuming about the outcome.
It is a Coach Cherai, not Coach Kawin. So we don't know. We don't know what's
that
going
would
on.
be couples counseling.
Exactly. But we also had
So maybe Coach Cherai is the opposite of of counselors.
But that doesn't make sense, because why would you employ a Coach Cherai to break up your marriage? I mean, the whole purpose is to save the marriage, right? So why will you pay money to get somebody to break you up?
Well, that still remains to be
Or
seen.
maybe coaching through the process of grief. Of
Well,
getting a
we
divorce.
we can only speculate, but let's move on to the next
What does
divorce.
ChatGPT say?
The divorce between Diana Daniel and Farid Kamil. Finally, for the second time round, they got divorced. So he pronounced a single talaq, formally ending their 12-year marriage.
Well, I mean, from what I noticed, right, generally the people, the artists in this case, they really try to keep it going. They try to mend the relationship, try to make sure that, you know, it's whatever happens when you split, that is like the last final mile, last resort, and it's not something that is taken lightly. You know what I mean? So and I think it also comes from the Islamic way lah. You need to mend the ties first. Try as much as you can to make sure everything is that you've tried every avenue, every corner, every nook you've tried, and if it really doesn't work out, then okay, that's the final mile, and that's it. Then okay, then the will of God.
I mean that you have the genuine intention because you're married and all that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's speaking of intentions, right?
Yes.
So we're moving on to Bella Astela and Syed Saddiq because the intention is still blurred. They emerge as one of Malaysia's most talked about duos in 2025. I mean, I think they started collaborating somewhere
Early
late
this year.
2024, I think.
Yeah, actually, it was early
From
this year.
Raya.
Yeah.
Raya.
So
Yeah, Raya.
following a series of high-profile collaborations which kind of blurred the lines between brand chemistry and, you know, public fascination. So what are your thoughts about that? Because it feels like, are they, aren't they? Are they on? Are they off? Is it a show? Are they acting? Are they not acting?
In terms of entertainment, right, that's exactly what will they, won't they kind of dynamics. That's on par for like your drama series, right? They go on for
Absolutely.
seasons, 10 seasons, 12 seasons.
But the drama works so much. The PR stunt, I'm going to call it PR stunt until they officialize
you know
their
what?
relationship.
The
It works so
mystery.
well because I'm so invested. My
I'm
sister-in-law is
invested.
so
I'm
invested.
emotionally invested. Faisal, you were
Yeah.
talking
You
earlier
were
about your
invested,
mum.
right?
No, I not me personally, but
Oh, tak?
definitely my mother is very invested. My YouTube account is connected to the TV, and
Nice.
my feed is all about Bella Astela and
There
Syed
goes your
Saddiq,
algorithm.
because
But then
my mom
again,
is watching
You know,
the
Syed Saddiq, he's the man. All the aunties or machi all really like him. They really like him.
He's a boy you'd want to bring to your parents.
Yes,
And introduce, you know. But you
Obviously.
know, it's like a romance what? They climbed the mountains together, they went through valleys together,
They
you know.
haven't swam the seas yet.
They haven't swum the seas yet.
Yeah.
So that's one more thing lah. But anyway, back to, you know, I mean, talking about divorces, marriages and all that, do you think people are just fatigued about this, like tired about hearing the same stories?
No, not really. People enjoy it.
But to be honest, I'm still surprised. The Bella Astela, the Bass,
Bass. They're
the
called
whole
Bass.
Bass,
Bass,
drama,
Bass.
saga, whatever,
Depending on your...
hasn't died down. I would expect nanti lama dia, you know, it will go off lah slowly, but it's still fresh.
No, because like even during his court case also, there must be a mention of Bella Astela was there by his side.
Yes.
He's coming in what time, she also came what time, she left what time, you know.
But they have family gatherings as well now.
Exactly.
So, yeah, birthdays and
I'm
all
telling
that.
you there's something there. I hope there's something because I am
You're also
emotionally
rooting for them.
What happens
vested in this.
if it's not real?
I'll be really upset. and I think your mom will be upset as well.
So we can confirm that you and Faizal's mom will go down to the parliament and have a picket if they are not together.
Yes, I'm
like
gonna
everybody
have
else
a
is
word
saying.
with Syed Saddiq.
But then again, some of the makcik will be like, phew, okay, now my daughter has a
Oh
chance.
yeah, that's true. That's true.
So
That's
Bella
true,
is like, okay, now he's available.
Okay, but I mean, speaking of controversies in 2025, I mean, aside from Bella and Syed Saddiq, we had quite a number of interesting controversies. Well, interesting is a subjective word. So we had the Namewee case where he was arrested. I mean, he is already such a polarizing person. So following the death of a Taiwanese influencer, you know, he was the last person seen with her, of course, and investigations found no direct evidence yet linking him to her death, and obviously he was subsequently released, and then he was also cleared of drug
charges,
use.
yeah.
So
But
what
except that he's still facing the drug possession charge.
drug possession charge? That's right. But he still remains a key person, I think, assisting authorities as the investigation into the death of the influencer continues. We also have Naim Daniel. That just began, I think, December 15th.
Yeah, that was shocking.
that was really shocking because he was charged with sexually assaulting a minor, and he was, I mean, of course, he has pleaded not guilty, and the case is ongoing. So, what are your thoughts about this? Like people creeping into controversies. I mean, there were quite a number of controversies in 2025, and these are just the more dramatic ones.
Well, I think it's just, I don't know, maybe it could be because of from the pandemic, everybody was locked up for so long, and then now everything is released. Things are, probably heating up, and then, the state.
You made it sound as if we've opened the Pandora box.
The state of the world, Yeah, because there are some people who say even with like the divorces and things like that, it was, well, I mean, not the main cause, but one of the big causes was the pandemic, because everybody was locked up together.
This lockdown, seriously.
So, people who generally are out there and sociable, they had to spend time together.
Yeah.
So maybe perhaps like for the husbands and wives, they found that they are not compatible together, I guess.
So we're
You
back
never
to the
know,
divorce
never know.
topic again.
But anyway, yeah, so in terms of controversial moments, a lot of them are shocking, but I don't know. For me, it's like for Naim, he still seems to be doing well. He's still working, he's still performing, he's still composing songs. But let's see lah. Because
But public perception, what do you think the public perception is? I mean, like when these artists are caught out in controversies such as this.
well, there are two. The general public will, of course, have a field day online on the keyboards.
And the keyboard warriors.
Yeah, but the artists, they have their own fans, and they have their, the fan base will sort of, help them out lah, and defend them and support them.
But we also have, speaking of controversies, and also like artists in this day and age, I mean, they have such huge platforms where they use it sometimes for good or the opposite, like in case of, But the Gaza conflict triggered a different kind of entertainment controversy. So you have public pressure mounted on celebrities to speak out, but also we had several Malaysian artists joined the Global Sumut Flotilla. Mission was aimed to deliver humanitarian aid to Gaza. So in October 2025, of course, the flotilla was intercepted and participants were delayed by Israeli forces before being released. So the question is, why did Gaza become such a flashpoint, you think? Because there's so many other things that are happening around the world, right? But for some reason, the Gaza conflict is one of the...
Well, I suppose because it's an ongoing issue, and it's not something that is going to go away. So people feel that they need to step up. And for the celebrities, well, some of them, not all, and obviously they're not expected to do anything, but if they feel a need to be part of the humanitarian cause or the fight, or if they want to join, then that's up to them. And for them, I guess they feel that they can sort of show people, be an example.
But do you think it permanently changed expectation placed on public figures, that you are expected to make a stand?
Well, that one, it depends, because sometimes it's like a trend, it's like a fad, if you have the woke crowd, everybody wants to be woke. When it's woke, when it's in, but then when it's not in, and then the pendulum swings to the other side.
Yeah.
So you see that in America as well, with the way things were going, everybody got fed up, and then they voted for Donald Trump. So, it swings. So, in terms of the Gaza issue, for me, it's a personal thing. It's up to you. If you feel that you want to express yourself, that's what you want to do to make a difference. After all, you said they have a following, they have a platform, and they want people to know, and they want people for them to do the right thing. So, I mean, look at Yuna. She came out and said she's not going to work with people who don't support the Palestinian cause. So that's a very bold thing to say.
Absolutely, yeah.
She'll lose a lot of, money in terms of sponsorships,
right,
being an ambassador to brands. But that's her stand. So, more power to her. That's how she feels.
So we're going to swing the pendulum over to to the movies and box office. So 2025 years, you think was a strong year commercially for local cinema?
It's actually quite a good year. Good year for local cinema, because with the Blood Brothers, the action crime movie, it was actually a very well made movie. And that managed to break the box office. They got over 70 million ringgit,
Wow.
which is
Impressive.
it's quite high. And then after that, you also had the Agent Ali movie, the second movie. That also made quite for an animated movie, it made I think over 60, if I'm not mistaken, 60 million at the box office.
But I've been told Agent Ali is very, very popular in Indonesia. I think it's like achieved cult status or something.
I think it's Upin and Ipin.
Like Upin Ipin too.
Upin and
Upin
Ipin
and
too.
Ipin.
Yeah, that's
No, but
really
Agent
crazy.
Ali as well,
Agent Ali, actually, our animated IPs like Boy Boy, like Agent Ali, it's quite popular in the region, the Southeast Asian region. There are a lot of countries that actually people watch. And like for Boy, Mekamato and all this, they're in the same universe lah.
Faisal, do you watch any of those Last
Any-
Kopeck productions?
Anything you enjoy or not?
Agent Ali,
No.
Bobo Boy.
Oh,
Don't tell me
actually-
Upin and
Upin.
Ipin, huh?
I
Come
don't. It's been a
With
long
your
time since
niece
I
and
enjoyed animated movies. But to say about the popularity of our animated films is very well received around the region, and
Yeah.
also it's a sense of pride and joy also for Malaysians,
Yeah.
because our
Absolutely.
product is being enjoyed by our neighbors. And it shows the quality of talent that we have.
Yeah, and it's gone to Japan as well, and all this, because Japan is the land of animation,
Yeah.
anime. So for our products to go there and break there, and people are actually interested, that's a big deal.
So talking about what is this popularity lah, live entertainment. You and I had this conversation earlier where you said there's concerts every other week. So it kind of dominated the headlines in 2025 because
Yeah.
I think around 450 they
Yeah,
targeted
over
around
450.
450 concerts were held in Malaysia
Yes.
or
Wow,
that's
are
a
being
lot.
held
Yes,
in
yes.
Malaysia in 2025, right? So that's a kind of a sharp increase from the previous year. I think previous year was about
Those
300
accumulated.
or 400
Yes.
only.
These are
Those numbers are locals and international shows.
Both.
mix, yeah.
Oh.
Mix.
So you have big shows, small shows. There are indie bands having small shows as well. A lot of the Indonesian acts, they come over quite frequently, and they come back. Some artists like and bands like Dewa, they almost every year they come back.
But there were some cancellations also, right? Like MCR, for example.
Oh, My Chemical Romance.
Well, that one was, they had some technical difficulties with their scheduling, but they are coming later lah. So it's not like they are not coming at all. It's just that their concerts have been pushed back.
It's not like Justin Bieber.
You're hoping for Justin?
But
Number one fan.
speaking of concerts,
Yeah.
right? We also saw nostalgia emerge as a major
yeah.
live music trend. Large scale concerts by KRU and M. Nasir drew strong emotional crowds, right?
Yes.
Among the millennials lah.
No, among the
What the old school.
I don't know. I don't know whether it was the millennials or maybe Gen Zs are also appreciating. But
No.
what do you think? What are your thoughts about that?
I think it all started with Dato' M. Nasir lah. Because last year he started holding his Cipta concert. Well, Cipta 1 lah at the time. And then that was such a success that he held another one, Cipta 2. So from there on, he realized that there was this demand for his concerts. So earlier this year, during Raya, he had a Raya theme concert. And then shortly after that, he had his rock theme concert, Cipta 3 lah, but it was a rock theme one.
Oh.
So, but then again, M. Nasir, he's known as the Sifu because he's written so many, I think 2,000 over songs.
Yeah.
And he's written for everybody. Everybody that's famous here, he's written for. So he has such a big repertoire and portfolio of works that he can just hold songs. But this created a momentum. And I think for the KRU brothers, they thought, why not? Because they are celebrating their anniversary as well. So, do something in a similar vein. So they had their Gen Crew concert. And that was like a big thing it was held at Axiata Arena in Bukit Jalil, and because the reception was so good, that they decided to have another 3 nights. So they had 4 concerts
Consecutively.
Yeah, consecutively, and it was sold out. So
You think this is a shortwave thing, or is it something that we're going to see more of in the coming year?
I think so. But it depends on the artist as well. Like for KRU, for their guests, they had like this girl group Elite, who was popular from the 90s.
Right.
So because of this, the success of their concert, people were looking at Elite as well. And so Elite, they also had their own solo concert.
Oh yeah, I remember Elite.
yes.
Oh God, that shows my age. But a lot of 1990s artists are also trying to make a comeback. I think.
For you to see, they also held a concert, and that also was a success. And during their concert, they again, like KRU, they had all these other bands. So they had a girl band Restu as a guest performer. So now Restu also is like, oh okay, maybe we can have our own solo show.
I mean, from 1990s, we also have a emergence of like East Malaysian artists also, doing really, really well, like Marsha Milan, and her
She won an
song
award, right?
Pening Rindu won an Anugerah Juara
AJL.
Lagu, right?
Yes.
And also Mary Grace, who won the 1 in a million. Yay for East Malaysia. So, Arif, if you were to sum up Malaysian entertainment 2025 in one phrase, I wouldn't torture like how she did by saying in one word.
I didn't torture it.
One word is fine actually.
Okay. Oh, you mean one word?
Yes.
You can sum it up in one word.
Fluid. It's very fluid.
Fluid.
Yeah,
Fluid.
because it flows. It flew well. I mean, it flows well. But some to more positive areas, some to more negative areas. But at the end of the day, what flows to negative can also flow back to positive. So it's a good thing.
So there you have it,
Yeah.
entertainment in a nutshell. So we've seen so many things happen in 2025. I think it's going to be a good start. Do you think for
Yes.
2026?
Yes, of course.
Any expectations? What you expect for 2026?
Hopefully more. For the industry people, they're always hoping that there'll be more support from the government, but not just that, but more support from the fans as well. Although, we've said that over 450 concerts, but I guess the artists and the organizers will also want even more.
The weekend in Malaysia.
Okay, unfortunately, that's all the time we have today.
Yeah.
So
if
what do you think?
if we go on much longer, then we will get an earful from our producer. So sorry.
Yes. As you know, we are all wearing earpiece. I feel like the bodyguard. Okay. So if you enjoyed watching this episode, please click the like button. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at NST Online. And also, don't forget, we have all our other platforms like Facebook, Instagram, X. What else? What else do we
YouTube.
have? X. YouTube I
TikTok.
mentioned. TikTok.
Thread.
They said we are everywhere, okay? LinkedIn, you name it, we are there. So just go and click because we've got great stories, we've got great sports news, entertainment news and whatnot coming up. So thank you so much for watching. Once again,
Thank you
thanks.
to Faisal and also Arif for being with us today.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's coming to the end of the year. Great to have you with us all this while. Happy New Year to everyone.
Have a prosperous 2026.
Thank you once again. I'm Alina Koshi.
And I'm Juliana. Take care.